Then Wu Shan ran down the steps and disappeared out into the street. And so, at this point, the young man is left just standing there, having no idea what to think. I better go upstairs and make sure things are okay before I do anything else. And so the young man went upstairs. He knocks on the Wu family's door. He doesn't get a response. He just tried the doorknob, and he found it was unlocked. He steps into the house and he calls out to anybody, but nobody called back. He kind of looked around the family's apartment, and it was totally filthy. In the middle of the living room, on the floor, he saw something that he just simply couldn't believe. It would turn out, in the weeks leading up to that ceremony, one of the Wu family's daughters came down with an illness, and because the family didn't have a lot of money, they couldn't send her to the doctor. When she didn't get better, the family decided that she must not be physically sick, she must be spiritually sick, meaning she was possessed by a demon. And then before long, the rest of the members of the family began complaining that maybe they too were also possessed. That was the day that the Wu family performed a big group exorcism. They believed that the one thing demons were afraid of was filth, and so they decided that if they filled their bodies with enough filth, the demons would leave. And so the Wu family, as they chanted and stomped around and screamed, began consuming their own feces. And when they would vomit it back up again, they would just swallow it right back down. What the downstairs neighbor actually discovered was the daughter, and she was laying on the ground and was deceased. And during the autopsy, they would discover that her airway was totally blocked by feces and vomit. By the time the downstairs neighbor made this discovery, the entire Wu family had fled the apartment, but the police would ultimately track down all the remaining Wu family members, and they would all be arrested. However, a court ultimately decided that the Wu family was suffering from something known as mass hysteria that could not be held legally accountable for what they did, so they were all acquitted.